Hello and welcome to this India Today special, where we are going to look at the two big hot button issues of the moment, the Citizen Amendment Bill and the state of the economy. With me is my colleague RAHUL Shrivastava, and with us is someone eminently qualified to look at these two issues, the former Union Home and Finance Minister, Mr. P Chidambaram, in his first major interview to national TV since he came out of judicial custody last week. Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Chidambaram. Let's start with the Citizen Amendment Bill, because the government is saying that Mr. Chidambaram and the likes of him are engaging in fear-mongering when you say that the CAB will lead India into a Hindutva Rashtra. This is fear-mongering. The bill is not anti-Muslim. It is constitutional, providing protection to persecuted minorities.
Who said it is constitutional? I asked this question.
Hari Salve told me in an interview
that is an
the other
opinion
day.
of a lawyer. I want to know who was the final advice to the government. Was it the Law Department, Legislative Department, or was it the Attorney General of India? I said, if it is the Attorney General of India, why don't you call him to the House? We can ask him a few questions. Place his opinion in the House. They won't do that. In the last couple of months, amendments made by this government to important bills have been struck down by the court. The PMLA amendment was struck down. The Arbitration Act amendment was struck down. So why do you assume that your law department and your legislative department are the final words on constitutionality of a law?
No, are you saying therefore that you believe that the CAB will be struck down by the Supreme Court, because the Law Minister, Ravi Shankar Prasad, made it very clear that it has been vetted by the Law Ministry?
We know the Law Ministry. Let's not say much about the Law Ministry. I gave you two examples of Law Ministry vetted bills which were struck down in the last few months. The point is, the bill is, in legal language, we call it a highly suspect bill. It's a highly vulnerable bill. And there are many eminent voices which have said the bill is unconstitutional. I'll give you three names: Mr. Soli Sorabji, Mr. Justice Santosh Hegde, Mr. Justice Madan Lokor.
I gave you the name of former Solicitor General Hari Salve, who said it qualifies within the reasonable classification category as an exception to Article 14.
I'm not denying that there will be two sides to an argument, but I believe that ultimately the weight of argument lies in favor of striking down this bill.
Sir, in your house, you said that this changes the definition of granting citizenship through an executive fiat, and it will eventually be adjudicated by the judges who are not elected representatives, undermining the parliament. While the government is saying that this is a tailor-cut law for certain minorities persecuted in 3 countries. It's just for them. It does not talk about exclusions.
Precisely our argument. In Article 14, there's a principle called under-inclusive and over-inclusive. If there are birds of the same feather, all birds must flock together. You can't leave out some birds. If there are birds of other feathers, they should not be brought along with this flock. This bill only chooses 3 countries, under-inclusive.
No, but again,
this bill only chooses 6 communities, under-inclusive. Let me illustrate it. It admits Hindus, but keeps out Sri Lankan Hindus. It admits Christians, keeps out Bhutanese Christians. Now, what is the classification?
But sir, the government says that even in the past, when the Congress has been in power, there have been exclusions made. There have been specific inclusions. For example, when Ugandan Indians were granted citizenship, the government claims, they claim that when Mrs. Gandhi, after 1971, when refugees were coming from across the border in Bangladesh, created special categories, or at least gave certain special benefits to those who are coming across. They even cite a letter sent by Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot to you, saying Hindu and Sikh refugees in Rajasthan need special benefits. They've even cited Manmohan Singh 2003 writing to the government when he was leader of the opposition that this is not the first time this has happened.
This is typical of this government. When it fails, it will cite some past instance without a context and without justifying or explaining why that context arose. If, say, in a particular year, and I can't remember the details now, a bunch of refugees had come into Rajasthan and had been living as refugees in a refugee camp for many years. And they've been living there. And the Chief Minister of Rajasthan points out that, like I think we have in Delhi, Majnu
Ka Tila.
Please now look at that. What has that got to do with passing a bill in Parliament? A bill in Parliament is a law for all time to come. What are you telling? And please explain the example I gave you. If Hindus are admitted, why are Sri Lankan Hindus not admitted?
Are you trying to say that the catch lies in the definition of persecuted minorities?
In fact, that gives rise to a larger issue. The guys who have all come in, they've all come in before 31st of December 2014, the new cut-off date. They've come in and already have given a story. Each one has said, I was born here. Or he has said, I've come before 25th March 1971. Or he said, my father came in before June 1948. He's already given a story. That story, in 1.9 million cases, has been rejected by the NRC exercise. And they've been declared as foreigners. Today, the Hindu, the Buddhist, the Sikh, among that 1.9 million, will have to give a very different story. He has to say, I was persecuted in the year so-and-so, in this village or this town, on the ground of religion. I am a victim of religious persecution, and therefore I came to India, and therefore please admit me. Now, which story is true? The earlier one is a lie and this is the truth, or this is the lie and that is the truth. You are asking somebody to eat his old story and narrate another story. So that is the only story that will pass under this law.
You're saying both on procedural grounds as well as substantively, you are creating a potential nightmare for officials, for citizens. The government, again I reiterate, sir, is saying that the violence that has followed in the Northeast and a few other parts is being fanned in a way by the opposition. They are, as I said at the outset, saying this is fear-mongering. You're not revealing the truth to public. You're consistently saying it's anti-one community.
Rubbish. We are saying, even before the bill was moved, we said, don't move this bill now. First discuss with people. Why did you move this bill in a great hurry? What was a great hurry to pass this bill on Monday in the Lok Sabha and on Wednesday in the Rajya Sabha?
What do you think was the hurry?
I don't know. The hurry is they seem to be in a tearing hurry to implement their Hindu Rashtra agenda. In 7 months, look at all the things they've done. 7 months, criminalized triple talaq, repealed Article 370, done an NRC exercise in Assam for 1,600 crore, wasted because this exercise has been scrapped, and now the CNAB bill. In the first 7 months of a new government, are these the priority issues? The priority issues were agriculture, employment, quickening the growth rate of the economy, putting an end to lynchings and rape, restoring law and order. Those were the priority items. But they have put all of that on the back burner. And these 4 issues have dominated the narrative, dominated the mind space for the last 7 months. Of course, Ayodhya is the 5th one. But is this the agenda of the new government? Is this it should be the front-loaded agenda of the new government?
Chief, there is one point here that this bill was around in 2015. The point here is that do you see that the rush, despite the government knowing that there will be trouble in Northeast, they went into it for it now because somewhere they were worried over the impact of NRC on Bengali Hindus. Is there a connect to that?
Obviously, CAB and NRC, I've called them Siamese twins. They're consanguineous twins. Apply both to any state. If you apply NRC first, you will exclude. And under the CAB, you will bring in all the non-Muslims. If you apply CAB first, you will include all the non-Muslims, and then NRC will exclude only the Muslims. So the net result of CAB plus NRC is only Muslims will be excluded. And how does the Home Minister say, without blinking an eye, it is not an exclusionary law? Apply CAB and NRC together, the effect is, the net result is exclusion.
But I've heard from Assam BJP politicians and to some extent national BJP politicians that if the Congress is today accusing us of majoritarianism or Hindutva Rashtra as you call it, the Congress was guilty of minorityism. They claim the demographics of Assam are being changed, districts, there's been an influx of Muslims from across the border, and somewhere the government needed to call a halt to it.
Is that the issue today? World over, migration can only be managed. Migration cannot be stopped. History of the world is a history of migration. Be that as it may. People have come into India. Let's assume a significant number were illegal migrants. But also remember the historical context. We were one country, divided into two, and then divided into three. The cow which grazes into the field in Bangladesh doesn't respect the international border. Similarly, people driven by economic aspiration or suffering economic deprivation cross, they come. Migration has happened. Let's assume it's illegal migration. You should have stopped it there. All right, governments have come. Governments
including
have
your
come.
government.
Of course, who says no? If the BJP had been a party in the independence movement, it would have formed a government earlier also. Therefore, we were the first party in this country, the tallest party, we ruled long enough. Show me one example where there are many examples where migration has been stopped. Show me one example where large-scale migration has been reversed. Show me one example. President Trump was not able to reverse large-scale illegal migration. You think 1.9 million people can be thrown out of this country? And where will you throw them out? Which country is willing to take them? I've got a whole series of questions on what you are going to do about the guys whom excluding.
Because Amit Shah says, I am reversing or correcting the distortions of partition.
How?
He claims partition was done on religious grounds. People at the Nehru Liaquat Pact, which promised protection to minorities, didn't operationalize itself in Pakistan. We need now to protect these minorities in these three countries.
Please understand, it is the Hindu Mahasabha, Savarkar, which sowed the seeds of the two-nation theory, and Muhammad Ali Jinnah picked it up from Savarkar and the Hindu Mahasabha. The original sinners were three: Hindu Mahasabha, their resolution, Savarkar, and Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Congress was the last, the very last among the political parties in 1946 to reluctantly agree to a division of India. We are not going to take lessons from the BJP on the history. Leave history aside. Everybody can go back and read history books. I'm asking a simple question. All right. You've applied NRC, you have applied CAB, you've identified X number of people as illegal migrants under section 21B. The bulk of them, all of them will be Muslims. Leave that aside. I asked the government and let them give a straight answer. They have not answered this question so far. What are you going to do to them? Where will you send them? Which country is agreeing to take them? And if no country is agreeing to take them, where are you going to put them? In camps? Will there be concentration camps? One camp is being constructed in Assam to house 3,000 people at a cost of 40 crore, just the construction. 10,000 people will require 120 crore. 1 lakh people will require 1,200 crore. 10 lakh people will require 12,000 crore. This is in one state. And what about feeding them? What about educating their children? What about taking care of their health care? And how long will they live? Will they remain for the rest of their lives? And what happens to your children? None of these questions have been answered. I don't think the government has even thought through what it will do for the outcome of the NRC-CAB.
So before we end this segment on NRC-CAB, tell us what do you where does this then end? What is it simply now all dependent on what the court decides?
As far as the CAB is concerned, the Citizenship Amendment Bill is concerned, the final word rests with the court, and I'm pretty confident, nobody can be absolutely confident, I'm pretty confident on both on grounds of equality and in the new ground which the Supreme Court has developed in recent judgment, constitutional morality, this bill will be struck down.
Can I ask one question here? You see, the Congress has had its own share of heightening the crisis in the Northeast when it comes to illegal immigrants. The IMDT Act, you were a minister in that government, the manner in which the entire thing moved. But today, do you see that can this eventually lead to defranchising lot of Muslims who have come from Bangladesh and several other countries? Do you see that as the ultimate aim? Because reversing, as you said, illegal migration is absolutely impossible.
All right. I'm glad that you are ahead of the Home Minister and saying reversing is impracticable. So perhaps what will they do? They'll identify them and disenfranchise them. They will not give them a vote.
Which was your
Maybe.
vote?
Maybe.
Presumably.
Can they deny them the right to work? Can they deny them the right to a ration card? Can they deny them the right to a homestead? These are human rights, irrespective of the right to vote. So the maximum you can do is disenfranchise them.
But the government says this is only to do with illegal migrants from Bangladesh. The Congress is making it out to be as if every Muslim is going to be under the scanner in the country. That's where the fear-mongering comes.
There will be. I'm giving you an example. The Sri Lankan Muslim is out because Sri Lanka is out and Muslims are out. The Sri Lankan Hindu is out because although the Hindus are in, Sri Lanka is out. So as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, the grievance of the Tamil people is, why are our Sri Lankan brethren who speak Tamil, Muslims and Hindus, being kept out of your exercise? If your exercise is to extend a helping hand to the victims of persecution, why are Sri Lankan, Tamil, Muslims and Hindus
the average
kept
Muslim
out?
who's been living here for years is safe.
We are not talking about that Muslim. There are 200 million people. We don't need your charity to say they are safe. They are safe because they are Indians.